Powell County parent says the school bus route in his county is unacceptable and dangerous for his children. He says his research has found he's not alone.
But WKYT investigative reporter Miranda Combs explains why the school district is sticking to its bus route for now.
Every weekday of every school year, you'll see them here.
You noticed here a couple of days ago,
waiting, not so patiently.
I've had magistrates go to school board meetings with me
For their children to arrive. Grover Barnett doesn't do this because it's cold out or too hot to walk.
Those kids count too.
He does it because the walk from here, he says, is too long.
See, they say they can't turn a bus down there.
And therefore, too dangerous.
Here comes the bus. Y'all have to move because that's where they turn around here.
The bus comes to a stop right at this turn. Barnett gets his kids.
Y'all had a good day at school today?
And drives the next quarter mile to their home. This mom drives even farther.
We've done it for like 8 years now. So, I mean, it's really old.
And it's a bigger issue than just my family.
Barnett has had issue with the bus stop since he bought his home down Forge Mill Road in Powell County in 2012.
I have a letter here that I presented to physical court asking for.
He's talked to state legislators, local elected officials, the school system, but the bus continues to turn.
If I can bring combines and tractors down this road, surely to goodness I can bring a school bus down it.
Barnett even took his issue to the governor,
Where I requested them to be an advocate.
proving this was more than just his problem.
I'm trying to get my family took care of. But there's over 100 roads in this county that's like that.
The problem with this Powell County road, officials say, is it goes from 13 feet where the bus stops to 11 feet where Barnett lives.
It's not fair, it's not right.
We talked to the Powell County superintendent. He says an 11-foot road is too narrow, too chancy when you're talking about children.
The superintendent says he is looking into the issue, even made a deal with the judge executive, told the judge if he can come up with a list of roads that they can't travel in Powell County, the judge will take the list to the fiscal court to see if they have funding to fix any of them.
The one beneficial thing that may have come from Mr. Barnett's bringing this about is maybe a fresh look into it, and maybe there is a lot more kids that will have the ability to, get to a school bus a lot closer and not have to walk as far.
Because right now, for Barnett, the walk between the bus and his home is a chance his children won't take.
All right, it's 8:45.
More news, including Kentucky newsmakers, when we return.
Good morning. I'm Bill Bryant. Coming up, a look inside the numbers of the latest WKYT Lexington Herald Leader Bluegrass poll on WKYT this morning. Good morning. Hope your weekend is going well. The Bluegrass poll conducted for WKYT, the Lexington Herald Leader, and our two media partners in Louisville shows a close race for the U.S. Senate, with Allison Lundergan Grimes with a slight 2-point lead. Herald Leader political reporter Sam Youngman joined me to talk about the poll on this weekend's edition of Kentucky Newsmakers. What are the factors that added up to this slight advantage for Allison Grimes in this poll?
Well, we get to October, I'm always reminded of Michael Keaton's line from Batman when he says, "You want to get nuts, let's get nuts." That's kind of where we are right now. The thing is, this close to an election, it's hard to distinguish between what we call noise in the data and what are actual findings. Now, this, like you said, this does match up with what Allison Lundergan Grimes has found, which is a 2-point lead for her. But it's in stark contrast to what we've seen in every other public poll that's been released. So right now what we're trying to figure out is, is this a real shift in the way the electorate is going to vote, or is this just, some of the noise we see when we try to drill down into the data? I think the bottom line is it's a close race. It has been from the beginning, and it will be until
we do. Into those numbers, one of the findings is that apparently she has improved her standing in eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we sort of look at this poll and we have a lot of questions, because what we're looking at now is a 16-point flip from the last time we polled. I believe McConnell's lead now in eastern Kentucky is down to 11 points. It was 23. What we haven't been able to figure out is what would account for such a dramatic change. Obviously, Allison Lundergan Grimes has made eastern Kentucky a focal point of her campaign. campaign, and it's entirely possible that the combination of ads and her efforts to portray herself as a pro-coal Democrat are finally starting to work at a time when people are paying attention.
She had former President Bill Clinton out over there.
That's exactly right. And if you look at what happened over the course of the last month, she had President Bill Clinton in. She had this new ad out where she's shooting skeet and says directly to the camera, "I'm not Barack Obama," which of course runs counter to every message that Senator McConnell's campaign has put out. So it's entirely possible that all these things add up together to account for this very dramatic shift.
Well, a good chunk indicates that they could change their minds before Election Day.
That's exactly right. At least 16% say that they could switch back and forth, and that is also in line with what we saw from Allison Lonergan Grimes' internal polls. I'm quite surprised that there's that much fluidity in the electorate now with less than a month to go. But I think it also speaks to the fact that voters aren't overly impressed with either side.
There you see it. 82% say their mind is made up. Is this going to be that baseline election that we talked about, where the obvious conservative-leaning people go one way and the obvious Democratic-leaning people go the other?
I think so. I've not seen any evidence to make me think otherwise. Now, our poll shows Allison Lonergan Grimes surging with conservatives. That's sort of a stretch to wrap your head around, considering what the messaging that's been coming from Senator McConnell all along. My hunch is that once we weed through all of this noise and we get down to the nitty-gritty in late October, early November, what you're going to see is Republicans versus Democrats, and it becomes a matter of who can turn out their base the more.
And now to see the full conversation with Youngman and an interview with Fayette County's Director of Public Health, catch Kentucky Newsmakers on its repeat this morning at 10 over on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR if you're away from your TV. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow on WKYT This Morning. I'm Bill Bryant, and we'll be right back.
We have an update for you now on the search for a missing Scott County teenager. Just a few minutes ago, Georgetown police said on their Facebook page that they have located 15-year-old Cassandra Miller. They didn't offer any information on when or where they found her, but they did thank everyone who helped out in the search.
And police in New York are investigating a rather strange incident today.
And they say last night a man came out from a subway grate, threw a smoke bomb at a restaurant, and then disappeared back underground. The restaurant's manager says an employee grabbed the device and tossed it back outside. One of the people inside complained on Twitter that the smoke stung her eyes, but no one was injured. That would certainly be a little bit unnerving. You're sitting there eating dinner and then smoke bomb.
What a silly idea. Yeah. I'm always wary walking over those in New York, especially. I guess in case someone might jump out and throw a smoke bomb at you, I guess, but or whatever. Anyway, the weather in Kentucky is going to continue to be wet today, and some strong storms are possible as we head into the next few days here. Thunder, lightning, and heavy rain, gusty winds too over the next 3 days here, and it'll all get going later this evening. Stay safe and, of course, stay dry out there.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that weekend with a little bit nicer weather.
That's when it looks like things should massively improve Friday and Saturday.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Nobody's more up to date than you to start the day. And remember, the news is always on at WKYT.com.
CBS This Morning is next. Thanks for joining us.